value chain, broad process they were debating. Critical issues germane to horticultural value chain development were discussed. The following recommendations were made and the follow-up actions taken up by the institute. The first recommendation for the in-house of 3rd to 4th April 2019. Scientists should promote sustainable technologies like integrated pest management that will effectively reduce the devastating effect of pests and diseases on horticultural crops. In order to address that, the Institute has developed Niacin EC and Niacin biopesticide, as well as Tutatractrin to address the menace. The patent certificates of these products have been obtained under the Institute. The product again has been registered with the Federal Agricultural Department of the Ministry. Additionally, sticky traps and baits are available to contain the menace of viral infestation of pepper. Second recommendation, scientists should develop technologies that can mitigate the effect of climate change on horticultural crop production, and now should work harder to develop improved varieties to be presented for registration at the Varietal Release Committee. In response to that, new varieties of okra and amaranth have been released, and work is at advanced stage in the development of improved varieties of garden egg, pepper, and tomato. And they are presently undergoing on-station slow farm trials at various locations in the agroecological zones of the country. The third recommendation was that scientists should come up with solutions to the continuous disease in types of mango fruit, especially Okomosho variety. In response to that, the issue has been captured under the institutional project Integrated Nutrient Management, and this is currently ongoing in Project 1. Then fourthly, now should promote the technology of extending the phase life of cut flowers and work more on indoor plants and landscaping generally. In response to that, the phase life of cut flowers has been extended from 12 to 14 days under room temperature with the application of botanicals and synthetic chemicals at varying concentrations. Fifth recommendation, researchers should determine the economic viability of NIOT technologies and innovations in order to attract prospective investors. In order to address that, it's already on the economic indices are available for technologies developed on tomato, citrus, pineapple. We have production guides on the commodities. In fact, it's more than it's almost about 10 commodities. So we have production guide of some horticultural crops, and these have been updated. There are additionally patent certificates are available for Niacin, Liftor biopesticide, and Tutatractrin. The sixth recommendation, establishment of technology innovation and patent center to commercialize research products in terms of quality and standard that will command internally generated revenue. In response to that, there are about Pesticide Center is one of the incubation centers for Niacin and Liftor, Tutatractrin, sticky traps for the control of vectors or viruses of pepper. And currently, investigation is ongoing to formulate dust and wettable powders of biopesticide because we have been looking for, but investigation is ongoing to formulate the wettable powder and the dust. Hydrated and dehydrated product development center is also an incubation center. Vegetable solar dryers. We have fresh vegetables to reduce or minimize postal technologies by promoting public-private partnership. As a follow-up to that, considering the efforts made so far, it is expected that NAFDAC registration certificate, and secondly, we have NIOT, NEPC, NCL, and NINE understanding, which has culminated in the acquisition of spray dryer equipment already installed in the Center for Production of Wettable Powder or dust brands of biopesticide and other products. The 8th reformulate policies that will ban importation of items. In response to that, NIOT has acknowledged Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria with the receipt of some extension dissemination facilities to ensure distributors to attract funds from local and international donor agencies, while the Institute provides an enabling environment. Action has been taken by establishing grants units with the duties of writing for, and for the last recommendation from the communique, NIOT governing board should have dialogue with relevant arm of government to consider an academic research and extension collaboration, as well as cooperation between NIOT and the Federal University of choice. In order to address that, there is prior to the dissolution of the governing board, the institute is yet to receive any communication to this effect. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for the overview. This shows responsiveness of the institute. And this technical session will have a presentation of new institutional projects with 15 minutes presentation by each of the projects. And in this session, being chaired by Dr. V.C. Ume, we will be taking projects 1, 2, and 3. The rapporteurs for the session are Mr. Adeoye for project 1, Mrs. O. Fajimi for project 2, and Mr. Oki KE for project 2. At this point, I'd like to invite Dr. Oko Olufumi to take the stand, and then the chairman of the session says some words before he makes his presentation. A round of applause for Dr. Olufumi.
Good afternoon. This of the presentation, I believe to us. And once this afternoon.
Good afternoon. We're standing on the existing protocol. I shall be speaking on the title project, which is we're standing on the existing protocol. I shall be speaking on the title project, which is it's not only impaired, that's why the needs are limited to this people. Soil fertility is a major factor militating against sustainable production of citrus and mango in Nigeria. Presently, Nigeria is ranked 9th in citrus and mango production. But the problem is that farmers rely on the native soil nutrients that leads to low yield. They are subject to soil management or enriching the soil. But soil management methods will bring a baseline assessment of integrated nutrient management and documentations in citrus and mango producing states of Nigeria. As of now, we are able to conduct this baseline assessment in some few western states, Oyo, for citrus and mango at every stage of development. To develop public INM packages for citrus and mango production. The objectives continue. The baseline assessment has been done in Benin, Nasarawa, and Kano, but the data collected are undergoing processing. Activity 1. Inventory and information acquisition on crop yield, production constraints, soil sampling, soil characterization, soil analysis, and land usage in selected citrus and mango producing states. This is the sub-activity for activity 1. Situation analysis in integrated nutrient management for sustainable citrus and mango productivity in southwest Nigeria. The survey used a multi-stage sampling procedure to select respondents. Purposive selection of the southwest zone of Nigeria, selection of 50% of states in the zone, selection of citrus and mango producing local government areas, random selection of communities within each local government, and purposive selection of 50% citrus and mango producing households in each community. Information collected during the baseline studies from farmers with well-structured questionnaires and focused group discussions included socio-demographic characteristics of citrus and mango farmers, citrus and mango production enterprise, fertilizer use indices, integrated nutrient management interest, awareness as well as constraints that cause differences in their production outcomes. Well, this is the data for the local government states, the 3 states, and then the local government. We are able to go around at 6 local governments, and when I go through the data, we will see how many citrus and mango farmers we are able to assess. Table shows the sampling frame for citrus and mango farmers in southwest Nigeria. You can see the 3 states for citrus: 30, mango 67, 26, 17, 24, 21. The total for citrus was 80, and for mango 105. Table 3 shows social demographic characteristics of citrus farmers. 80 citrus farmers were assessed. We can see that male are dominant with 17.8%. Marital status, all of them assessed were married. Educational attainment, the maximum or the highest was primary school. And the household size between 5 to 10. They are dominantly Christians. Headquarters characteristics of citrus farmers, the same, and remains 80. Their farm size minimum 4 to 6, which is the maximum. Number of citrus trees greater than 80. Experience in citrus farming more than 30 years. Most of the farms were inherited. I can say virtually all were inherited. Land acquisition method 77.5. Even those that were not directly inherited was given to them by their husbands. Propagating material, citrus seedling. But these are not intentional. When they throw out the seeds, they just grow, and from there they uproot and transfer to their various farms. You can see the citrus seedling that were propagated through that, while the body, the one purchased, was just 3.75%. Source of labor, mostly here, especially for harvesting. Preferred varieties were sweet orange and tangerine. The cropping system, intercropping. Knowledge of level of INA among the citrus farmers. Many of them don't apply fertilizer. One woman complained that when she applied fertilizer, she discovered that there had been cracks on the fruit. So since then, she didn't apply again. Type of fertilizer used in organic. The inorganic they are referring to is the native soil nutrient, not ones that were deliberately applied. Method of fertilizer application, ringing, citrus tree pruning. They don't normally do it. Most of the trees are stored as this wood, so they don't do any pruning. Harvesting. They do it when the fruits are fully ripe. Concerning to citrus production, their complaint was that there were too many number of people. So before the fruits get to where it's to be consumed, the price has already gone up, even more than double of the farm gate price. Pest and diseases infestation very high. And if you look at the constraints and their ranking, the number of million came first, while that of pest and diseases was second. That one was for citrus. The assembly is number 7. This one is for mango. The sex, male dominant. Marital status, we have some few that were still single. Educational, still remain primary, and we have few secondary school, higher education. Household size, 5 to 10. Religion, mainly Christians. Farm size, less than 3 acres. Number of mango trees, greater than 80. Experience in mango farming, greater than 30. As goes for citrus too, they came about their farm through inheritance. The same thing as for citrus goes for the propagating material. Source of labor were mostly higher, and their preferred varieties that were mainly grown were Bomashaw and Panama. Cropping system, intercropping just like citrus. Fertilizer, application time, the time, method, pruning, and harvesting were similar to that of citrus. Constraints. Pest and diseases came first too. Why the second problem were from grazing animals, but they are not from Fulani Europe. They are from their own people. All these free-range goats, they do a lot of havoc to their fruits. Inadequate extension contact, we don't have information of new technologies to improve their enterprise. Another problem is the fluctuating weather conditions. Food theft too. So the farmers and the thieves are competing. It's first come, first serve. At core citrus and mango producing areas in southwestern Nigeria identified. Production practices of citrus and mango farmers in southwest Nigeria ascertained. Identification of constraints hindering optimal productivity of citrus and mango in southwest Nigeria. Then, high-level knowledge among citrus and mango farmers in southwestern Nigeria, which is almost at 0. Conclusion: zones. Large number of human grazing animals, pest and disease infestation zones. Large number of human grazing animals, pest and disease infestation are the prevailing constraints to citrus and mango production in the zone expected. Recommendation that we should introduce the citrus to them and develop their capacity to have new technology. Activity 2. This soil inventory of selected citrus and mango farms. So in those farms, we are unable to sample the soils of all farmers that we are able to access. So it was only those farms that we are able to go to that we took soil samples from. The soil samples were collected, here dried and sealed, and were analyzed for pH, nitrogen, and formatting analysis. So this is the result from the. Because of the IMM approach, we bought liquid fertilizer, we bought organic fertilizer. But before we go ahead to apply the nutrient content of all these things, and that is why we have this table 11. This is for the solid organic fertilizer we bought. And this one was for the liquid fertilizer we bought. This is the chemical and particle size inventory of citrus and mango farms that were sampled. The result, the pH of the soil were within acceptable range. Also, the C, N, calcium, and potassium were high, while the P was low. Mean value of micronutrients was adequate. Soil nutrient status of farms under mango cultivation was similar to citrus, but with low potassium. Output, soil nutrient status of citrus and mango farms sampled in some states in the western Nigeria were determined. Conclusion, citrus and mango farmers do not apply fertilizers. But soil nutrients were native, the soils were marginal. There were more mango farmers than citrus activity free. Development of integrated nutrient management package for citrus. As I said earlier, 3 sources of fertilizer we are going to use. That is the liquid, organic, and then NPK. The 4th one is the biofertilizer. So, materials and method, this is for citrus. Establishment of citrus pre-nursery, establishment of the seedlings in the pre-nursery are now in the nursery. More than 1,200 Cleopatra mandarin rootstock seedlings were raised in the pre-nursery and have been transplanted onto the nursery. Activity 4. Sorry. Okay, now we go to the tables. This table 14. Breakdown of the 3 local mango cultivars. 3 cultivars of mango were collected from Ogbomoso, totaling 2,000, and that's breakdown. The wholesomeness and viability of seeds. From this, you can see that out of the ones collected, Ogbomoso were able to get 700 that could be planted. Oyo, 405, Calabar, 176. But looking at the margins, you can see the percentage loss. For Ogbomoso, 94.8. Olomi or Oyo, 11.7. Calabar, we are unable to germinate any of the power. So all the ones we collected, we don't have any. Activity 5 is the last. Development of fertilizer from citrus roots to at this stage. What we are trying to do is to isolate fungi and bacterial endophils from citrus root systems. So when these are identified, they can then incorporate them to some filler materials so that they could be applied just like our NPK or the organic fertilizer. So for citrus, we use rough lemon, Cleopatra mandarin, and for the mango, the same cultivars of mango we are able to get. These are just the plates through which the organism isolates were made. For citrus, this is for mango. From rough lemon, while 3 fungi and 1 bacteria isolates were obtained from Cleopatra mandarin. So there's a farmer there, this is at Ogbomoso, this is at Fiditi. This one, that's the ABP man that conducted us around in Ogbomoso with some women farmers. That man is a retired principal at Ife. So people, when we are administering our questionnaire, this is how some of the farmers raise their seed. This one is raised in the basket. These are our staff at Bagarda when they did the baseline assessment in Kano. And this is a profile people that was done. And the people at Benue State. I believe you can recognize the trend. Thank you for your attention.
Let's clap for it. We can. Do we ask questions? Okay.
project 2, presenting for project 2. Please come forward. Project 2 will be in twofold. We'll have the main report and then the addendum, which will be made. And I appreciate each and every one of us to be really, really attentive, because this serves as a call to the work in hand. I crave your indulgence to please invite upstage Mr. Adioye, Mrs. Fajimi, Mr. Oke, Mrs. Adeshegun, Mr. Osman Nasir, and Mr. Oladipo. Please, can you all come forward with the rapporteurs for this session and the next session? Please, let's all be seated here. Once again, Mr. Adioye, Mrs. Fajimi, Mr. Oke, Mrs. Adeshegun, Mr. Osman Nasiru, and Mr. Oladipo. Thank you.
Yes. Practice.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Standing on the existing protocol. I'm making this presentation on behalf of the project coordinator. This is reading for bacterial wilt and heat tolerance to make. The coordinator is Dr. Sipitoe. She's unavoidably absent and asked me to stand in the presentation. The project is actually an sort of exit point for the SY Project 1. This is the project team. Scientists, support staff are listed there. Of course, this list could not possibly be exhaustive because there are several other partners that may not feature there. Bacterial wilt, as we know, is a problem, a big problem that we've been trying to battle all over the world, and especially here in Nigeria. Heat stress is a major biotic stress, is a major factor limiting crop productivity, especially during the heat periods. The objectives of this project are twofold. In general, the project aims to develop and release tomato varieties with tolerance to bacterial wilt disease, and also tolerance to heat without compromising high yield and other preferred consumer traits. Specifically, the project is aimed to conduct stakeholder evaluations and participatory appraisals that will aid in keeping touch with end users, farmers, and other stakeholders throughout the varietal development process. Also, to isolate and characterize these two traits. Also, the project, this was meant to aid us to develop our varieties with demand-led breeding occurrence of these stress factors in production areas, to identify pest and disease management strategies among farmers, and also to ascertain and determine the preferred traits for improved tomato. So far, the study has been conducted in Ogun and Lagos states. Of course, the plan is to carry out this study all across the country, in the north, middle, in the north central, in the northwest and northeast, and also in the south. But for now, considering they were present, those are pictures that the team took while out. The results are here. Basically, farmers are aware of these two stress factors. They also identified the diseases that affect the productivity. And we saw that southern blight, viral infections, seedling damping off, and fungal diseases feature the most among the other diseases that farmers identify. We also know that they lose a lot of their crop to this disease, bacterial wilt, and also to heat. stress. Now, we also know now that they don't have access to any wilt or heat resistant varieties. Also, we know that appreciable levels of use for improved varieties from seed companies were noted. It means farmers are now becoming more aware and are willing to spend the extra buck to get what they actually need. It means if NIOD can produce and make available such varieties, I think we can also not lose from that anymore. Also, the use of local land races was widespread, especially with those who cannot afford the improved varieties. These are the pest management strategies that the team found with farmers, from the obvious to the ridiculous. Red maize or cloth for controlling bacterial wilt. We don't know how that works yet. That's the list. We also took note of the preferred rates. In order of priority, 3 preferred rates were observed. Tolerance to pests and diseases, followed by big fruit size, availability of disease-resistant varieties, and high cost of these improved varieties when present were the top. And also, most farmers who have started making use of improved strategies for production noted that they have limited access to soil testing and disease diagnosis. These points are actually points that the project has decided that we will work at solving by the end of the day. Activity 2, collection and isolation of the bacterial wilt strains. The objectives are listed there. On the spot assessment of bacterial wilt incidence and heat stress experience was done on active farms. Soils and infected samples were taken with their location coordinates, and we also collected seed samples in areas that were visited. So far, the samples have been treated, and we've worked with them to isolate the strains. We don't know if they are different yet. We are in the process of determining how different or how similar they are. We have 9 ethnicity of these isolates. Also, isolates when we need to inoculate plants for our experiments. The results basically are shown here. Of the 9 samples, we observed that 2 of the locations actually have highlighted in red there. We noted that in those areas, those 2 places, cyclic cultivation of solanaceous crops is actually responsible for that endemism. Tomato, pepper, and eggplants, they are all hosts of the bacterial wilt pathogen. Activity 3, evaluation of advanced lines with promising putative bacterial wilt tolerance and preferred agromorphological traits. Actually, the project, as I said, was an exit point for the S2I Project 1. And progenies from that project that were migrated into this project. Now, when we started, we felt while getting things set to start, project proper, we would work with the lines that came from Project 1. And that is what we did here. We evaluated them for, I call it putative tolerance. Those are the objectives. 102 tomato genotypes in all were biodiversity descriptors for tomato, qualitative traits and quantitative traits as listed. At the end of the day, the breeders were able to select 75 advanced lines at F4 now from 9. Now, this is on the basis of desirable fruit qualities and yield attributes, as well as putative tolerance to bacterial wilt, as I mentioned. Now, the table there shows the origin of those F3 families that we selected from. Those crosses are crosses that we made in Project 1. And that other column shows the number of selections that were made from each family. The two pictures you see there are pictures of two of the promising varieties from that experiment. And if you could see clearly, you would observe that under high rainfall conditions, those are actually very good performing selections. Activity 4. The project also assembled germplasm from around the world. That was to expand the base, the diversity of traits. We searched online databases of genetic resources repositories, and we selected based on our interest criteria: bacterial wilt resistance, heat tolerance, drought tolerance, and other diseases that may be of interest as we continue the development pipeline.